All right, so we have a recording started here. We're going to take a recording of our call tonight, our webinar, so that anybody that's not able to join us live is able to check in with us later. And actually, I'm wondering if I can try to put it on speakerphone and I won't have to hold the phone. We'll see if I get the same feedback. All right, can you hear me? Is that working? Excellent. So I'm Meredith Pizzi, and we have Annette Whitehead-Plow here. I think on the screen they both say Meredith Pizzi. That's due to our technical glitches, but I am Meredith Pizzi, and this, at least to my right, I'm not sure on your computer screen, is Annette Whitehead-Plow. And we'll introduce ourselves a little bit more later as well. But we're going to just get into the meat of the presentation. So Annette, I think you have control, or do I?
I think I do.
Awesome, so go for it.
So we wanted to ask everyone, are you passionate about being a music therapist?
Are you hearing feedback?
Yeah.
It might be my phone, so we'll just do it this way.
And I think that the answer for most of us is that we all are very passionate about our work and about building upon our work and making it better, and that we're here because we believe we have something to contribute to what we're doing and contribute to our communities and to the world to make it a better place.
I think that's why we all go into music therapy in the first place, is because we believe we have something to give. We have a talent and a drive and a passion for music and making music. And then we clearly have a drive and a passion for people and helping people in one way or another. And that's what brings us to this field. And so I think to reinforce that we all came to music therapy with a very special drive and a very special passion. And I think sometimes when we get in the thick of the work, we forget what we have to give. And we forget what we have to share, and sometimes we forget how much we know, and sometimes we forget to check in with others just to get that support to keep going. So yes, we all believe that we have something to contribute, and we hope that you do too.
But our question for you today is that are you open to learning more, learning about the craft of music therapy, or learning about your business, learning how to move things forward and move things maybe in a deeper way, or to find some answers to questions that you've had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why that's why Meredith and I have come up with this plan to institute these two new programs through Roman Music Therapy. Because we believe that people are ready and wanting to learn more. But we're
Wouldn't you say, Annette, that you and I are both learners? You and I are both learners at heart.
Oh, always. That's how I stay young.
And so I think the question for everyone here is, are you open to learning more? And if you are, then what are we going to do about it?
It's good to know, for all of us, when we do have questions, do you want to explore that with someone you trust? And who can you trust to explore these questions with? How are you going to learn more about music therapy or your business and how to make things better? It's how to be a better therapist with your clients, or, to understand what's going on, because, sessions can be so very complex. So what's going on with clients can be very, very complex and hard to see through all of it.
And I think that's true with business stuff as well, as people are starting private practices and growing their businesses, music therapy practices, and then really music therapy agencies around the country. There's so many questions that we still need to explore and continue to explore as things keep changing in our field. So important questions to consider.
Absolutely.
And maybe you're very clear on what the questions are. Maybe as a clinician or as a music therapy business owner, you're very clear about what you need to know and about what the questions are on the table. Or maybe you're not quite clear. I think there's a time as a new professional when we are starting out in our work that we have lots of questions and we don't know who to turn to ask, and we don't want people to think we're stupid, and we don't want people to think that we don't know what we're actually doing. So there's that time of learning in our careers. And then there's the part after that when you feel like you've got a pretty good handle on the work and how things are going. You kind of feel more competent and more professional in your work, but you're still not quite sure. Or what am I missing now? Because now it feels a little bit easier, but I must be missing something. And so the next question is to figure out what are those next steps for you. And as we progress in our field, I think Annette and I can both agree that we have lots to learn at every step. Every interaction with a client is a different interaction. Every new contract is a new contract. All of those pieces are new discoveries. And so it is important to have somebody on your side, on your team, backing you up, helping you every step of the way, and also encouraging you, helping you think through the answers when you're not sure. All of those things come up in our work.
And it's so important, like I find, for me, I've been a music therapist for well over 20 years, that I stay fresh and alive in the profession because I'm always filled with questions, and I'm always seeking new answers and learning new things, and being open to that learning. That the times that I've gotten stale on my work has been when I didn't have more questions and didn't have people to work with about those questions.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I guess for me, I've been practicing for 13 years and self-employed for all of them. So after 3 music therapy businesses, three businesses along the way, I still feel there's many unanswered questions or things I never thought I'd need to know and new things to learn along the way. So.
Another good thing to know is do you work better in a group or in a one-on-one setting? Like, does it work good for you to talk with like a group of people who have similar ideas, or maybe some dissimilar ideas, or is it better, or do you do better with just one person who's there to listen to you? And different situations you're in can create a different need, whether you want to be with a group or with just a single person.
Right. I think we all have our own styles, and I think it changes based on what it is that we're grappling with. There are sometimes topics that I definitely have been able to approach them more in a one-on-one environment, and then there are things that I've learned a ton from in groups. So it might be that it's not that you're only one way or the other, but it sort of depends on what things you're facing right now in your career and in your work.
Yeah, I'm going to throw out a little poll here. There's only just a few of us, but yeah, let's see. How many years have you been a music therapist? And when you answer these polls, that we don't see who's answering what, we just get like the data from it, just to make it interesting, and also to know who we're talking. Like the specifics of who we're talking with.
So I see the quick poll question here, Annette, still. Is it working on your end there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to, I don't know what I just did. Yeah.
All these fancy dongles that we can use, all these options.
Yeah, it looks like half of us are in their first 4 years of practice. A quarter of us, so that would be one person, is 5 to 9 years, and then one person is 10 to 14, and then I didn't vote, so that would.
I couldn't vote either, so. I'm still seeing the poll box in it. Can you close that poll?
I can't seem to get it off.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
And what's funny is Annette and I practiced this. We had everybody in our office do a whole practice webinar with us, and we were getting all the kinks worked out, and we really did practice this one. And then little things come up along the way.
Yeah, they sure do.
It's like with everything. It's a lesson in resilience.
It is.
Just out of curiosity, I don't know if anybody can still speak. Grant, I know you were able to talk earlier. Are you on here still, Grant? Can you hear me?
Yes, I am.
Oh, and you're
Are you able to
unmuted.
hear me?
Fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
great. So, Grant, can you tell us what you were looking for while Annette's trying to figure out how to close that quick poll? What is it that interested you in the webinar and in the topic?
Well, I'm a new professional. Recently finished my internship early July and started working full-time at the end of the month. So just kind of figuring out the best ways to navigate that new journey and that transition.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting. It's an exciting time, but it's also good to know who you can turn to when questions come up. So I'm really glad you're thinking about this now already.
Thank you.
That's great. And Ray, are you unmuted?
I think so.
You are. Hi, Ray. We got to meet at conference, so you and I have met.
I got done with my internship in January, and there aren't really any full-time jobs around in my area. I've been on the private practice train since February. I finally got a client though, so that was nice. And so
That's great. Congratulations.
Oh yeah, I'm just here, always looking to get more experience from people and other professionals who are doing what I'm doing.
I think I got it, Annette. I'm sorry, Annette. I think it worked now.
Okay.
So you're good. Go back to your PowerPoint slide.
There we go.
I don't know what happened, but a button popped up on my end. Sorry, Ray. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just wanted Annette to know I found it. So go ahead. You're on the train for private practice, and you've got your first contract coming through.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get, I'm always interested in hearing other people's experiences. So here I am.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, now that we're back to our main screen, Annette, I'll let you keep going. We did our little spot check here and got our quick poll in.
All right. Well, yeah. Oh, so we have two different products that we're offering now through Roman Music Therapy. And these are both products that we've had for a while, for quite some time, actually. The first one is the clinical music therapy supervision. It's called Meeting of the Musical Minds, or M3. And it's something that we've used with our staff for quite a few years.
A number of years now, yeah.
Yeah, and Meredith and I have talked for years about supervision and about and the needs of music therapists throughout the country. We know that not everybody is as lucky and fortunate as we are to live in a community where there's a lot of music therapists, and to be in a place where we can have. She's built an incredible business with over 90 contracts, and so we have a number of music therapists on staff, and so we're very fortunate to have that. And we know, though, that many music therapists are not so fortunate to have such a community where you can have supervision in your work or with the music therapists in the city around you. And we've wanted to share this the community that we have with others, and so we decided to launch this program of taking what we have here at Roman Music Therapy and sharing it with the greater music therapy community in the United States and beyond. And so this is what we're offering.
Can I just add a thought here too, Annette?
Oh,
I think
sure.
one of the things that I've noticed through my involvement in AMTA and music therapy in our region, but also across the country, is that we have a huge problem with retention. And people come to our field because they love it and they're passionate about it, but people burn out, people feel isolated, people feel very lonely and misunderstood. And it's easy when you're on your own to just decide it's easier to do something else. And I feel very strongly that we need more music therapists, more practicing music therapists doing lots of different kinds of work within our field. And so I really believe that the supervision piece in our agency has made a huge difference for people transitioning through new professional work into more seasoned work, becoming maybe a mentor to somebody else on the team as they've had time in there. And so I just want people to think about this as an investment in your own retention and your own longevity as a music therapist, because we all came to this because we love it. So we want to make it last and make it work for you for the long term. So go for it. We'll get into the nitty-gritty here a little bit about clinical music therapy supervision.
So yeah, have any of you received music therapy supervision?
I don't hear audio. Yes, we must have an internship at least.
No?
Yes, we have.
Oh,
On
yeah?
my end. Yes.
Okay, so maybe some people know about what it is. So it's a relationship where you can enhance your music therapy skills and improve outcomes with your clients. And it's also a place where you can reflect, where you can reflect on the work that you're doing in like so many ways, from like the verbal counseling skills or the musical skills, or gosh, what is going on with this person? I just really don't understand what's happening, or what's going on within me. And as well as something that I used a lot when I worked in the hospital, and it was the emotional support because of the very intense situations I was in, and supervision was a key part of my mental health and my self-care. It's also a place where you can discuss ethical and best practice concerns or questions in a way that, that you're not going to get feel exposed or anything. That your supervisor is there to help you work through those things, and then you can also work on it, to enhance your confidence and confidence within your work, and especially with group supervision, you have then your built-in community of music therapists, people who understand what you're doing. I feel very fortunate working here now because I'm around music therapists all day long, but in all my other jobs, I've always been working alone or maybe with one other music therapist in a sea of people who didn't understand what we were doing. And that is so heavy and so difficult to always be standing against that onslaught of non-understanding. And so having a place of community for me in my supervision has always been such an important part of being able to maintain myself through that onslaught.
Mm-hmm.
And also it just helps you to examine and strengthen your therapeutic relationships with your clients, as well as it's a place to work through relationships with your coworkers, which sometimes is a key part of supervision.
It's being successful in the workplace, right? In many ways, there's the very deep clinical aspects that can certainly be addressed in supervision, and sometimes there's those softer edges that also can really have a huge impact on your work and ability to do your work. That can also be addressed in supervision.
Absolutely. If we look at the research about supervision, it really shows that it can foster that environment of self-examination, which is so important to understanding what's going on in the sessions. And like we talked about, it helps with the isolation and burnout. It's, again, about me and with working in the hospital, it was such a key part of that and allowed me to work in very trauma-filled situations for many, many years without having the secondary, the vicarious traumatization of witnessing those situations over and over. Mm. And it really can help. It's good for both seasoned and new clinicians. It's not something just for young people. I still regularly seek out supervision to learn how to be a better music therapist, how to be a better music therapy supervisor. Mm-hmm. It can empower you and improve your confidence with skills, and it provides frameworks to better understand things and to help to resolve unresolved issues. And these are within the therapy setting, but also within ourselves. Each of us carry our experiences of our lifetimes and our biases, and sometimes our experiences and our biases interfere with our sessions, and it's a place then to work on those. It's not like therapy and working on it that way, but in a way to help you be a better therapist. And just like if you're in therapy, it's important to choose the right therapist. You have to do the same thing with a clinical supervisor. And it's good to know things like how long they've been a clinical supervisor, what areas of expertise do they have? Like, what's their theoretical orientation? Like, are they behavioralist, or are they a humanist, or psychodynamic, or and is that compatible with your theory? And sometimes I've worked with people who have very different theories than me, because I they either I wanted that challenge of a different theory, or to look at things from a different direction, or because they had other skills that were really important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Learning what kind of interventions they use in supervision is really important. And how they work with their supervisees and is also good to know about your potential supervisors. And finally, like, what professional organizations are they a member of? And that's important because you want someone who's bound by a code of ethics. And so if I'm a member of AMTA, so I'm bound by that code of ethics. But and there's other associations people can be members of with codes of ethics as well. And so that's one thing. I'm a member of AMTA. I've been a music therapist for like 26 years, I think now. I need to do the math. It's hard to admit that it's been that long. I don't feel that old. So I started my career. Well, before that, I went to Colorado State University for my undergraduate degree, which a lot of people don't realize that about me. And studied with Michael Tout and Bill Davis, and then I went to an internship in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with Carol Schultzes, who's now a professor down at I can't remember what college. Anyway, but I interned in a place that was that had many different populations, and I also chose her because she was very different from Colorado State. Not that I didn't like what I learned at Colorado State, but I really wanted to have a wider breadth and depth of what music therapy was. From there, I went into working into psych care, first at a state hospital in Massachusetts with adults, and then I also worked with adolescents and geriatrics and children in psychiatric hospitals over the years. But ever since my very first, well, before that, let me step back a minute. It's been a long career, so I can forget parts. Throughout, like, most of my career, I've had a very small private practice where I had contracts either with schools or with individuals or with residential settings, with children mainly, and a few adults. And so I've had that, and as well as supervision over the years. So that's part of my experience. I also, when I left the state hospital, I went and worked at a domestic violence shelter, well, now intimate partner violence shelter, and one that focused on, it was an outpatient center actually, and it focused on women who had comorbid domestic violence and substance abuse issues in their families, and that was a really, really moving work. I really enjoyed that, but the grant ended, and so the position ended. And then I was really fortunate to have the experience, the opportunity to work at Shriners Hospitals for Children with pediatric burns. It was back in my very first music therapy course that I read about music therapy and burn care, and I knew that moment that I really wanted to do that. That was what I always wanted to do. And I worked there for almost 15 years, and in that time I trained countless interns, and yeah, did a lot of work there, and loved it. And then I've been very fortunate to come and work with Meredith at Berlin Music Therapy now. On top of that, I also teach at a couple of different universities, but the one that's most relevant here is at St. Mary of the Woods College, where I teach several courses, but in the undergraduate distance program, I teach like practicum supervision. So I'm supervising practicum students and doing it remotely through webcams and Skype and things like that. And so it's from that I learned that it's actually possible to do supervision in a remote way, in a meaningful way. The one drawback is that I am bummed that we can't improvise because the technology doesn't allow that yet. It's mostly one-way sound, or there's the delay that doesn't allow you to do that. But I'm hopeful that will change with a little bit of time.
Hmm.
But that's who I am. I function mainly in a humanist way, but I'm also very strong into the biomedical sort of thinking, looking at the way the brain functions and how we can use that. But I have a lot of exposure to many other theories and draw upon them as needed.
So if I can add here, Annette, I just want to share that at Roman Music Therapy Services, we have a very diverse caseload. We do birth through end-of-life care, and we have a diverse team of music therapists. There's about 9 of us now, maybe 10 of us right now, actually. And when I was looking to bring somebody else on the team to really help supervise and to help guide the team and to help nurture the team and support the team and challenge the team, it's a really tall order to fill. And I was absolutely delighted to have Annette join our team as our senior clinical supervisor. There is no one else that I wanted to trust our team to. And so if you know me, you know that I set a pretty high standard for all things. And Annette has been a fantastic supervisor for our team. And we also have on the call here today someone who has had the experience of working with Annette as a supervisor at our agency, but also in her internship. Letitia, I think you are unmuted now. Do you want to test that?
Hi.
Hi, Letitia.
Hi. Good
Since
evening.
Letitia was able to join us, I just thought it would be nice, Letitia, if you could share just a couple words or a couple sentences about how it has been for you to supervise with Annette, because you've had much more supervision with her than even I have. So I wanted to give the floor to you for a moment.
Yeah, thank you. So back in a little over 7 years ago now.
And I don't want Annette to be uncomfortable here too. Annette, we're talking about you.
So just over 7 years ago, I did my internship at Shriners Hospital for Children with Annette, and she was an incredible supervisor. What was great was that she adjusted her supervising style to meet my unique needs. When we first started, she, as she was getting to know me, she was doing a little more hands-on stuff, and then once she figured out that I kind of needed to be thrown to the wolves, if you will, she let me go my way and was always there to support me as I went through my internship. Now, 7 years later, coming back and being able to talk to her again about completely different clientele, completely different situations, all of them as unique as each individual I see, it's really great because our conversation has changed. We're more colleagues now. I have a lot more experience, I have a lot more knowledge, and yet Annette still challenges me and helps me bring stuff to the table and helps me carry things away to try out in my sessions. So Annette, you're just great. Great at showing me different ways of looking at my work, and always challenging me to grow in new and different ways.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Letitia.
Sure.
I was saying as we were kind of preparing for this call, it'd be nice for someone to hear from what it's like to actually work with Annette. So I'm so glad that you were able to join us. Thanks, Letitia, for your insights as well.
Of course.
So enough making Annette uncomfortable. Annette, you can change the slide.
So we're gonna So I'm looking to start several different groups, and looking at what your needs are and what your interests are will help me to coordinate that. So we've talked about several different ideas, and those include one's supervision for new professionals or seasoned professionals, people who are really working on that work-life family balance. With the specific needs of LGBTQAI folks and music therapists, as well as students, and looking at that your identity and how that interacts with being music therapist. Also supervision for the supervisor, because the supervisors, we also need to make sure we're doing the right thing along the way. And then, definitely catering if we have a bunch of people from like medical music therapy or private practice who want to, come together in community. That would be another way we would organize the groups.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to point out the supervision for the supervisor one. It could be for folks who are supervising a team at an agency, or also maybe just an internship supervisor who is new or seasoned as an internship supervisor, but could really use the support and having another colleague to talk to who is within our field and within our discipline to really have a couple of people to put our heads together with is so very valuable.
Absolutely. I can't, and don't tell Letitia this, but I can't tell you, it wasn't with her. But I can't tell you how many times over the years that I've been a supervisor for many, many years, and that I've been sitting there and somebody's telling me something, and I'm like, oh my Lord, what am I going to do? And it would, it's always been so very helpful to know that I can call up one of my peers or like my old internship director, because she's been being a supervisor way longer than me, and know that I have that support system and to get that help.
Hopefully you get the idea. Annette has a very strong clinical supervision support system, and we want all of you to have that as well. So that's what we're trying to build here, is the infrastructure of having a strong support system within our field and our network so that you can go out and do the best job you can and be the best music therapist you can be.
Yeah, because it's heavy stuff that we do sometimes, and it's wonderful and rewarding, but it's also heavy, and it's good to it's really good to have that support. So we're clear.
Absolutely.
So we're clear, so we can do really good work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pass it over to Meredith now.
Perfect. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the business owner end of things. And in being a music therapy business owner, I've learned that there's the clinical pieces, which are incredibly important and challenging in their own right. And then there's all the other bits and pieces about being a music therapy business owner. And I like to refer to it as all the things you never thought you'd need to know. And there are many of them, and they come and go quickly. So, Annette, I'm going to try to take the presenter from you. Let's see if that'll work. Oh, no, you got it. You keep sliding for me. Can you keep doing the slides?
Yeah, you just
Fantastic.
tell me.
Perfect. So within coaching, it gives you an opportunity to really set the vision and direction for your business. I think as Ray sort of pointed out earlier, you get on this private practice train, and it happens to many of us, that all of a sudden you get a contract, or all of a sudden you're looking for a job and you end up with a contract, and then another contract, and then another contract. And I've worked with many, many music therapists who have sort of gotten on this train, and then all of a sudden whether you pick up your head and you look around and you're like, where am I? How did I get here? I didn't want to go here. Coaching really allows you to pick up your head and set that vision for your business, set the direction, set your sails, and head on the direction you want to go to. It really helps you sit from that higher altitude and then learn about business development from that altitude and help you develop ways to grow your business, manage your time, manage your energy, all of those things, but from a higher altitude. So you're able to take a higher view and see everything in its entirety rather than just this little fire or this little fire or this little challenge in your way. With coaching, you're also going to be setting some very specific goals for yourself and working towards those goals. So you're hoping to accomplish a certain set of goals for yourself, for your business, and you have a coach and colleagues there to hold you accountable. I know for me, I can be a very productive person, but it's also really helpful for me to have someone else to say, hey, did you get that done yet? Or what are you going to do to make sure that gets done within the next 3 days? Because it's really important that I need that too. And I've learned so much from the business coaches that I've worked with over the years. And I really, truly love sharing that with other music therapists to help them develop their businesses and reach their goals. The other thing that you can do in coaching is really focus on becoming a business leader and being an entrepreneur. It's more than just being a music therapist, and even bigger than being a music therapy business owner. You really have an opportunity to become a business leader and an entrepreneur within our field. So we'll talk a lot about that as well through coaching. As Annette pointed out earlier with supervision, the ability to be around like-minded individuals is so incredibly valuable. So if you can gather together with other music therapy business owners who are going through similar things to what you are experiencing, that camaraderie is inspiring. It really is, and it allows us to get beyond the day-to-day sort of struggles of being a music therapy business owner. So coming together with other music therapists and with a music therapy business owner coach can really help you be inspired and motivated and energized to get out there and keep keep doing what you do best and moving your business forward. Thank you, Annette, for managing slides. So similar to choosing the right clinical supervisor, you want to make sure that the right business coach is the right business coach for you. There's a lot of things to consider, and you want to make sure that it's the right fit, that you and the coach's personalities are going to gel, and that your approach is going to gel, and that you feel like you can really learn and stretch and grow in your work with that coach. So things about how long have they been a coach, do they have experience as a coach, and as a music therapy business owner, and also I guess to add, do they have experience being coached? Because it's very hard to coach others if you're not getting good coaching. And I would say it's the same for supervision, right? You know, Annette referred to the importance of her having good supervision over the years. It's hard to be a really good supervisor without having been supervised or having someone who can help you in that process as well. So someone who has experience as a coach but also has done some heavy-duty coaching with some coaches out there that have really held their feet to the fire. I think that's really valuable and important. You want to know if this is a person you can work with. Is it someone you feel like you can say anything and ask any question and feel like you can get the support that you're looking for? That's also really important in choosing your business coach. You want to make sure that your coach has a wealth of knowledge about the things that you're interested in, about the questions that you have. You want to, you know, I've worked with different coaches at different times in my business career, and depending on what I'm facing at any given time, I might need a particular kind of business coach that I'm going to choose to work with. So understanding what it is that you're looking for, both in terms of knowledge and skill set, is really helpful. You also want to make sure they're genuinely invested in you. You want to make sure they really care about you and about your business and about your business development, because that's really, at the end of the day, what's going to feel like you've got someone in your corner. And that's what this is all about, whether it's supervision or it's coaching. We're trying to give you a team in your corner, cheering for you and rooting for you and your success. And you want to feel like that person is genuinely invested and interested in you and your success. And are they ethically centered? Annette mentioned the importance of being connected to the national organization. We're both very strong proponents of AMTA and the value of being a member of AMTA, because I think we've both seen the impact that it has had on our careers and on clients' lives. Frankly, the work that the National Association does is incredibly valuable. And the National Association gives us our code of ethics. So music therapists who are not members of AMTA are not bound to the same code of ethics. If there's a concern and someone goes to the ethics board actually can't do anything if that person is not a member. So it's really important, in our opinion at least, that when you're working with a coach or a supervisor, that you're clear where they stand from an ethics perspective, that they're exploring those areas and knowledgeable about those areas, and also committed to membership and the code of ethics that we have as a field. You want to switch there, Annette? So who is Meredith? This is an awkward slide, isn't it, Annette? Now I get to tell you about who I am. It was my idea. Let's put in who is Annette and who is Meredith. It is really awkward, Annette. So to give you a little bit of my history and background, as I said earlier, I've been in private practice, self-employed my entire career. I started out in Long Island and built a practice there. Actually really enjoyed the work that I was doing and started expanding my work to the point where I had to bring on a subcontractor to help me fill the interest in the area. So I was working with a pretty full caseload and then also had a subcontractor providing some services as well. But we made the decision, my family and I, to move from Long Island, New York up to the Boston area for more personal reasons, opportunities that existed here for my husband's professional career that didn't exist down there. So we decided to make the move, and then I set out to start another business. So Roman Music Therapy Services was the second business that I started. So I have experience with one out in the eastern end of Long Island, much more spread out, very different sort of geography, and then also up here in more of the urban greater Boston area. So Roman Music Therapy Services was founded in 2006. We celebrated our 10th anniversary this year with a wonderful party. We had a great festive event of many community members and families that came. We had about 150 people come to our 10th anniversary celebration. In those 10 years here at Roman Music Therapy Services, I've learned so very much about myself as a business owner, about the work, about growing and leading and managing a team, about business development, about financial management, about, taxes and subpoenas and eviction notices and all sorts of fun things that you get to deal with when you are a business owner. So I've certainly seen many things in my own business development. I've also had amazing experiences doing group coaching with other business owners outside of our field of music therapy. When I competed in a business owner pitch competition a number of years ago, and as a winner of that, I was able to participate in individual and group coaching for quite a bit of time, and really learned a lot working with other business owners and great coaches and advisors. I also have done a lot of coaching with music therapy business owners, both individually, one-on-one on the phone, or via Skype and internet. I've also worked with a mastermind group of music therapy business owners for a number of years, and that's been a fabulous experience. That group began when we started with a mastermind retreat. I hosted a music therapy business owner mastermind retreat in Boston, and we had 5 amazing music therapists gather together for that weekend retreat experience, and then it continued to a mastermind group for many years. And we talked about how this is so valuable, we need to share it with others, we want to share it with others, and now is the time. We decided as Annette came on board and we were talking about the supervision piece and the coaching piece, it really made sense to launch this as a bigger model that more people could take advantage of. And similarly to Annette's conversation earlier, there's so many different pieces that we can address. So before we get into that, I guess I should also add that 4 years ago, I co-founded Raising Harmony Music Therapy for Young Children with my business partner, Elizabeth Schwartz. She was my internship supervisor. So going back again to the important influence of our supervisors, my internship supervisor became my business partner 4 years ago. And we have been training music therapists around the country and around the world in our Spreading Melodies early childhood model through online and live trainings. And we're helping music therapists start their Spreading Melodies practices or programs around the country to bring what we know about early childhood and music development of young children to families all around the country. So we have a couple of ideas here. I think the next slide, Annette, is some of our ideas for coaching groups as well. Is that true? Yeah, so here are some topics that we've that I've been thinking about and would love to share, and maybe one of these will feel like it's the right fit for you. But there is definitely a need for private practice 101. I'm just getting started in my business and I don't know what to do. I don't know how to prioritize my time. I don't know how to prioritize my money. I don't know how to get any money in my bank account. You know, all that stuff that happens when you're starting a business. Those are really important issues to discuss, and it can be really helpful to do it in a group of with other music therapists in the same stage of business development. Then there's that solopreneur stage, solopreneur and loving it. For someone who is on their own, single music therapist, not interested in having a staff, not interested in having subcontractors fulfilling their contracts, but rather I want to do my work and function more as a consultant in the community maybe, or within the workplace in different areas. And so that group is really for folks who are really happy with their solopreneur business structure and exploring areas within that. The next one I'm titling Raising a Music Therapy Agency, because I do think there's a huge investment. I have a note on my office desk that says, I am committed to raising a business and a family. And to me, it's important to consider raising our agency as if it is part of the family, but also understanding what that means as a person and being able to separate yourself from your business and all of those things. So for those who have a staff who are looking to manage a team or grow a team, understand business development from a larger perspective, that music therapy agency group would be a really wonderful match. We're going to do a group for MTBO and Mommy Too, because it's really difficult to manage, as Annette pointed out, that work-life balance piece can be a real struggle. So we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to talk about that for everyone as well. And I'm just going to go in here and mute some. I know we have a lot of people that are able to talk, but I'm just going to mute it because we're getting a little bit of feedback here. Yeah, let's see if I can just do mutes real quick, everybody. We're just going to mute you, but we'll unmute you again here in a little bit. So the MTBO and Mommy Too is really working on that work-life balance and helping people to deal with all of those things and transitions. As part of my story, I also have 3 children. They are now 11, 9, and 6. But as I said, I've been self-employed the entire time and have had 3 babies in the meantime and watched them all growing up. So I do know what it's like to go through those transitions of daycare and school, and Annette, you know too, look at those eyes. I know you know also. So there's challenges in that work-life balance, and I think as a business owner where it's constant, it sometimes feels like it's never ending, and our work and our home lives blur quite a bit. I think that's a really valuable place to be able to speak about what that's like. We're also launching a Spreading Melodies Launching Pad MTBO group, and that will be for people who have done the Spreading Melodies training and are interested in getting their new programs up and off the ground. We'll be ongoing conversations with other music therapists to really support that business development piece for Spreading Melodies programming in particular. And then more, because I think there's so many other ideas to come based on what people are actually looking for and what your needs are. So that's that page.
So we're going to talk about your next steps in this process. If you're, we're really happy that you're here with us today, and so that and listening to what we're offering as a product, and so this is what we're looking to do. And so, pardon me. The first next step is that you can schedule a 30-minute consultation with us, which is complimentary, and it can be with either me or Meredith, and I guess both of us, if you want to engage both in supervision and coaching. We really want to have these calls take place in the month of December, so in January we can start up the new groups, and we're going to use that time to evaluate what you're looking for and how we can bring people together, what would be the best to accomplish your goals. But also, this is a time for you to look at, to talk with us about what you're looking for. And if you're not quite sure, we can help to maybe tease out some of that information.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it's the time for you to decide if you're ready to invest in your work and in your business and in yourself by choosing to engage in supervision or coaching. And and the best reason to do this is because you deserve it.
Yeah, I think this is something that I think we don't give ourselves enough credit or attention as music therapists. We're naturally helpers, many of us. We come to this field because we want to help others. And the truth is that when you're on an airplane, what do they tell you before you take off? They say put the oxygen mask on yourself first, right? And so if we forget that, then we can't really take good care of our clients. We can't really take care of our personal relationships. We can't really take care of our businesses if we're coming to it from a place of lack of oxygen, for example. So it's really important that this is not an extra fluffy thing. This is something that's absolutely essential for your survival as a music therapist. It's absolutely essential for you to be able to be at your best in your clinical work, in your leadership work, in your development work. And so I think we want to present this to you as an opportunity for you to make a decision. We can't decide for you what you're going to do, but we can give you the opportunity to say, you know what, yes, I believe in me, and yes, I believe that I have something to contribute, and yes, I want to go out there and change the world with a bunch of other rock star music therapists. And so the way that you're going to do that is you're going to commit to investing in yourself through either supervision or coaching or both if you feel like that's what you need. But we really do believe that each and every one of you on this call and listening to the webinar later, and every single person in our field absolutely deserves it. And so we challenge you to challenge yourself, if that's hard maybe, and really give yourself this opportunity for personal growth and development and learning. And then go challenge your friends. Go challenge your classmates from your music therapy program, from your other programs, and say, hey, I'm doing this, and I think you should too, because I think we're all stronger when we're all better, stronger together. And yes, you deserve it. And then in this, we also have some jobs. Annette and I have a heavy task list ahead of us as well. During that 30-minute consultation time, it gives you a chance to get to know us, but it also gives us a chance to get to know you and to know what your needs are. And that's going to be important for us to sort of identify what is the right fit. Is a group situation going to be the best thing for you? Is an individual situation going to be the best? Is a combination of both going to be what you really need? And then also, who are the other music therapists that you're going to be able to mastermind with and supervise with to really get the most benefit? We want to build dynamic working groups, and as therapists we, I think, care a lot about the group makeup and how people come together to form a group for the most powerful opportunities. And so Annette and I will be tasked with lots of 30-minute consultation calls with all the folks that had signed up for our webinar tonight and are listening in, and other people online, and lots of emails that I've gotten from people that couldn't attend tonight but really were interested in what we had to offer. And it will be our task to then build some dynamic working groups. And then we're going to schedule the groups. We didn't think it made sense to come out with a schedule first when we don't know exactly what people need and are looking for. Once we have a better sense of what your needs are, then we're going to come up with days and times that are going to work for the people that are in that group. And we know scheduling can be a nightmare, but we also know that it can be done. We have a team of many music therapists who work all over the state of Massachusetts, who drive this way and that way and, work a variety of session times and schedules. But we always make it work. And I really believe that we'll be able to make this work as well once we figure out what your needs are and find the right fit of music therapists for each of these groups. So that's our job.
And on top of that, like with teaching at St. Mary's, which is a distance program, I teach people from coast to coast, and we always are able to find a time where we can all get together, and I can do the supervision course where I sit with the students and online, and we talk about what's going on in sessions and struggles and great things that have happened and all that's going on, and we're absolutely able to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole new world, like technology. Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic new world for us.
Yeah.
So, it's time for all of us to invest in our clients and in our businesses and in ourselves. So it really is, Meredith, the thing about the oxygen mask is so important. The way I think about it often is like if you're a river and you're flowing out to the sea of your clients or the sea of your business. If you don't have tributary rivers coming into you, you're going to run dry and have nothing left. And supervision and coaching are two great ways to feed that river, so you can continue to feed to work with the clients and your business. So the investments we're looking at are a time investment of 1 to 2 hours a month for the call or individual supervision or coaching. And so that would be either the group or and then maybe an additional individual supervision or coaching. And then any following up with any commitments that you might have. And then the energy that you have, like the more that you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it with both the supervision and with the coaching.
Mm-hmm. But I think these are also things you can control. We try to create this in a way that you'd have choices. So we have these different financial investment options, but there are also different commitments of time. And so I'll just walk through this quickly for everybody. We wanted to make sure that there were options for people who felt like they needed maybe lower financial investment, but more time, but also having that time available, or people who really needed more time on a call as a group or also with individual services. So the bronze level that we're offering is one 60-minute group call each month. The fee is the same for supervision and for coaching. To keep it simple, we are going to have one pricing for both kinds of services. So it would be one 60-minute group call each month meeting with the same group. The silver would be two 60-minute group calls each month, and depending on how that ends up with the interest level, there might be a few people that really need that twice-a-month group call, and they would have it ongoing, same group, 2 times a month, or it might be that somebody really has a need for 2 groups and they're going to join 2 different groups, and within that you would get a great depth of experience as well in relationships and build your network even wider. So 2 60-minute group calls could be the same group or could be 2 separate groups, but it would be with the same supervisor or coach. The gold package is for folks who that one 60-minute group call is good, but there's really a lot of one-on-one stuff that they also need to address. And so in addition, you would do an add-on, we're calling it, for an individual supervision or an individual coaching call in that month. So maybe it's every other week. You have one 60-minute group call, 2 weeks later you have an individual call, 2 weeks later you have a group call, 2 weeks later you have an individual call. So it is a way for you to be able to do both, benefit from the group environment and everyone else's knowledge, but also be able to focus on what you need to do with some one-on-one, boots on the ground, digging in really deep, just you and the coach or you and the supervisor kind of time. And then the platinum package is if you choose to have the 2 60-minute group calls per month plus an individual add-on call. And maybe you'll find over time that your needs will shift. Maybe you start with one package and you say to Annette or you say to me, could I, for the next couple of months, add on an individual call? We've priced this so that it is a reduced rate for individual add-ons. And we've tried to make this as economical as possible because we know that many of us building businesses or just starting out in practice, or even those of us who are seasoned in practice, don't always have a ton of disposable income. But what we want to suggest to you is this is not a disposable service. This is not something that should come from your disposable income. This is not your latte money. This is an investment in your work. We pay our CBMT dues annually. Hopefully you pay your AMTA dues. And this is another way to really get into supporting yourself as a professional to do the work really well. As we go through our consultation time, we'll have a chance to talk about group supervision, group coaching. We'll also talk about individual coaching or supervision. If you feel like group coaching, group supervision isn't what you need right now, then we can also set you up with an individual-only plan, and we would work with you to set that up also. So depending on what your needs are and what you are able to invest for time and money and energy, all of those things, we understand that it's a package deal, and it's a lot to work out personally for each person. But we'll help you sort of navigate what might be the best option for you as we get to know you a little bit better and your needs. I think everyone would say, the folks that know you and I, Annette, both of us would say that we're pretty down to earth and we're pretty honest about what we see and how we approach things. So if we feel like you're signing up for individual calls and you really don't need that, what you really need is group calls, we'll tell you that. We will let you know, and we'll have an honest conversation about how we think you can get the most benefit from your investments of time and energy and money as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we really do believe. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Annette.
Oh, go. No, please do.
I was just going to say that we really do believe in the future of our field. Annette and I devote countless hours, time and energy to sharing information with others and supporting the field and the growth and development of our team and our field, our discipline across the country and internationally. So we really do believe that this is one option. There are many options, but this is one way for you to really invest in yourself as a music therapist and for the greatest benefit of your clients and the people your business may serve as well. Is this our handout here, Annette?
Yes, it is.
Fantastic. So Annette's pulling this up. Is there a way for everybody to download it? We can send it out in the email tomorrow too, I think.
I'm not. I don't know if you guys can download it. I'm sorry.
Let me see. I wonder if there is. I'll try and pull that up real quick. Annette, do you want to just tell them what's on this?
So we have a. So we'll either send this to you. Either you can print it now or pull it up now. I'm not sure, or we'll send it to you. And it has our links to scheduling with us. We both you can click on whichever one you want, and it will take you to a place where you can choose times. And we've set aside times for these meetings in the month of December. And like we said, during that time, you'll talk with us about what your goals are, what you're looking for, and we'll, think carefully and put you in the right group. Yeah, and then the handout also covers the financial investment.
And we want to work with everyone to make this work. We really believe that a group coaching model makes it both easier on your checkbook, but also adds a great deal of value in terms of bringing together a diverse group of people with a diverse skill set and can really help you to understand what your options are. So we encourage you to consider the group coaching, both because it's an economical way to approach supervision or coaching and to get in the game and give yourself that support, but also because we both strongly believe in the benefit of it and the ability for it to meet lots of individuals' needs. So we are excited to share this with people. I think, again, we've benefited, both of us, from a great deal of supervision and a great deal of coaching over years, and we're happy to share it with other professionals in our field. So we want to invite you to join us on the journey, to join me, to join Annette, to join our team at Roman Music Therapy Services. Truthfully, no one goes alone in this journey. And as music therapists, we all know that we don't really want to go it alone. We want to go with like-minded people. We want to go with our colleagues. We want to go with our friends. We want to go with people who can support us and challenge us along the way. And we really are excited about putting together some really neat groups of people we haven't even met yet, to come together for great supervision and great coaching masterminds. So we look forward to being in touch with you. Tomorrow an email will go out. We'll make sure that those links are in it so that you have a link right from your inbox, and hopefully you had a chance to jot it down in your notes from this call here as well. Want to just see, I think there's a way for people to raise their hands. I didn't see any questions, but I will take a minute here and just see if you guys have a chat screen. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have, and we'll see if there's any questions before we do end our call this evening. Let's see. I'm not seeing any questions. Does anybody have any questions? There is a way for you to raise your hand. There's a way for you to ask a question by typing it in. I see Ray has a question. Ray, I'm going to unmute you here.
Hi.
All right, Ray, you should be unmuted.
Cool. I was just wondering, what was it that we were supposed to write down? I must have missed that. I heard you.
Oh, you don't need to write anything down. We'll just we'll keep sending it to you.
Okay. Sorry. I just thought I heard jot something down, and I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything.
If you want to go back one screen, Annette, I think it was just on that last, or maybe it was on the next steps screen. We'll just show you again in the PowerPoint here. It's just a quick link. It's I think it's a tiny URL. Yeah, if you type that in, it takes you to a web page where you can sign up for a 30-minute consultation call with Annette or with myself. And again, those are complimentary. There is no charge for that at all, but that would be your next step, is to schedule a call with myself or Annette, or both if you're considering both clinical supervision and business coaching.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
One quick thing about supervision is that within the standards of clinical practice for our field, which is the bare minimum of what we're supposed to do, we are required to seek out regular supervision, and so many of us don't. And yeah, it's really to the detriment of us and of our clients, and so that's yet another reason to engage in supervision. But I prefer to think of it in the positive of that I want to grow, I want to do better, than, oh my God, I have to do this because they tell me to. But. Yeah, absolutely. No, but we want people to be able to have that support because we know how important and valuable it is. I don't see any other hands raised here. We're so grateful for you guys for joining us for this call tonight, and we look forward to sharing it with the many folks who had signed up to join us and couldn't join us here this evening. Thank you for your patience at the beginning as we were working out the technical glitches, but you know, with everything, it gets better and better. So we'll keep practicing our webinars, right, Annette? Yeah, we're going to become a webinar. I was going to say Rockstar team, but I already used Rockstar, so I don't know what's stuck in my head tonight. But we want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us and for considering supervision and for considering coaching. We really do believe that you are worth the time and the energy and the investment, and we hope to see you on a 30-minute call soon. Yes, thank you so much. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Have a wonderful evening.